Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Engage, and welcome to TrekChatz, a first-time Star Trek watch podcast hosted by the two hosts of Chatz, a television podcast, who have never watched Star Trek before. My name is Allen, and I'm joined by my own brain, brought to life and given legs and a personality and hips. Hips. Good Lord, the hips. And brain. What is brain? That is my favorite line of any of these episodes. And brain. What is brain? It's TrekChatz. It's your favorite Star Trek podcast this side of the Alpha Quadrant. Hi, everybody. I'm Alan.
You gotta say my name.
It's Magellan. It's Magellan.
Sorry. Hey, what's up? I was distracted because I was admiring the hips in the
Just
mirror.
those dang hips.
And weighing like, okay, loneliness in a flesh prison, but the hips. And what do I do? Yeah. So
my parents died, and I watched them die, but I'm traumatized.
But the hips.
Yeah, I'm blind, so I can look at unconceivable evil. Oh, that would have been a good one. I'm joined by an inconceivable cosmic
Something
evil.
so ugly. We had to put it in a box.
It's the Fluke Man.
Tucked over there in the corner behind the pipes.
There
Oh
it is.
my god.
They're going, there. People don't know what we're talking about. Actually, people do know what we're talking about. God. What's up?
Can I tell you something exciting?
Please.
Do I say this? I guess I will. I recently recorded an episode of the Chatz files.
Oh, I don't. Where's my applause button? Where's my applause button? That's not it at all.
This guy stinks.
Sure. I don't have an applause button handy. That's awesome, brother. Congrats.
Yeah. So that'll be hitting the Patreon sometime. And,
Ooh.
yeah.
Did you get Chinese chicken? Is that why you were like, I should just do his Chatz files?
Sort of. They made it easier because now there's a Panda Express across the street. So
they made it easier for you to do the Chatz files.
The god above made it easier.
That's great.
And I gotta get through season 2 of the X-Files so that I can remove that rule from myself and be like, okay, season 3, the rule is there's no rules. I can just
the rule is we watch the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Anyway, we're not talking about the X-Files though.
We could. No, we're talking about Star Trek. We're talking about the original series, specifically season 3, part 1, which is episode 1, Spock's brain, all the way through season 3, episode 12, The Empath. We watched 12 episodes of Star Trek this month. But John and I have to always ask, as we do TrekChatz, and it's a lot of episodes of television, what was it like watching Star Trek for you this month?
I was doing some traveling for work, so a few of these I watched on an airplane, and then on an air train, and then on a subway. So it was a lot of planes, trains, and automobiles for me this time around, watching this half season.
The dream.
And I don't know. I think that made it a little hard to feel grounded and situated. And sometimes you get a half a season of Star Trek that can kind of transcend that and be like, hey, don't worry. No matter where you are, we'll hook you. We'll bring you in. And sometimes you need to kind of like put a candle on and dim the lights to get the show to speak to you. And I don't want to kind of keep talking about how Star Trek the original series is not great. But there are some duds, and there's some great bits. Of course, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but yeah. What about you?
I think that it's fair to say season 3 is not great. It's generally considered the worst season of the show. In fact, the first episode is considered the worst episode of the series. So like this is a section where we're more than I know, right? Low bar No, we're like very validated to be negative about season 3 of 2S. And me going in knowing that, I was like, I'm just gonna look for anything I enjoy, just any little nuggets, any kernels. We have some historically significant episodes in here. We have some very like interesting lore implication episodes, but overall, this is TOS at its most, doing the same plots again, accepting scripts from fans of the show and calling that an episode, which is like so strange.
That's fun
in the modern day. Yeah, there's an episode in here, I'll point it out when we get to it, where a fan like just graduated from college and was like, I have a script, would you guys take it? And they're like, yeah, you want some money for it? We won't give you a lot. It was like a budget saving episode, which is bananas. So you could just do stuff like that. And we also got more Klingon stuff, we got some Romulan stuff. Like, there's good hidden amongst the wide swath of chaff. And I think by the time I finished, I like kind of settled in, like you're talking about, and I was like, I could watch a little more of this. I guess I could watch a little more of this. I kind of am at the point though where I want to start watching the movies. Like, I want to watch these actors do bigger stuff. Because a lot of the stuff I realized, like, I know from Star Trek, TOS is actually not even from the show. It's still coming in the movies. Like, the Kobayashi Maru is a Star Trek the motion picture thing,
right? Oh, it's motion picture. Okay,
I might be wrong. I think it's from one of the movies. Yeah.
I think, to be positive,
it's from Rathacon. Thank you.
To be positive, throughout this whole time, it was still really fun to be with these characters. I enjoy these characters quite a lot. I think they can go blow for blow with any of the other Star Trek ensembles in terms of like being kind of fun to hang out with. And yeah, like you were saying, there's definitely little science fiction ideas and design elements that are like, whoa. But yeah, I'm ready for these performances and like the creative here to not have to pump out 24 episodes at a time and be like, okay, let's tell one big story. So
with a budget and some patience and some actual sets. This season also, you can start to see the budget kind of squish a lot. Like, we get a lot of episodes on the ship where it's just like a person appears and does something that requires a basic technical effect to pull off. And then by the end of the season, we're literally getting a room of black curtains. I was like, you ran out by the end of the half. Here, we are in a room of black curtains, and that's intentional. It's artistic. But, you can see the squeeze happening, which is fine. I don't need my sci-fi to be... That's, like, not a complaint. I think that lowers the ratings for me. That's more just a fact of the show's production.
Thing to notice.
Yes.
They also have, by this point, gotten the death sentence of the show was moved from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday nights. Like, we're done. It's over.
Nobody's watching Star Trek anymore.
The dream is dead.
It's 1968.
Wasn't there... Oh, this was like Laugh-In, right? Did we talk about this? That they were supposed to be on a different day at a different time slot, and then Laugh-In was like, no way. We don't want that. I forget. It was something like that. But anyway,
I know that the show got canceled, and then syndication is what kept it like being, in the zeitgeist.
Let me see if I can search Laugh-In. Okay, yeah, here. This is from Wikipedia.
Okay.
Season 3 section. NBC at first planned to move Star Trek to Mondays for the show's third season, likely in hopes of increasing its audience after the enormous letter campaign that surprised the network. In March 1968, however, NBC instead moved the show to 10 p.m. Friday night, an hour undesirable for its younger audience, so as not to conflict with the highly successful Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In on Monday evenings, from whose time slot Laugh-In producer George Schlatter had angrily demanded it not be rescheduled. In addition to the undesirable time slot, Star Trek was now being seen on only 181 of NBC's 210 affiliates. Yeah, so Laugh-In was like, don't fucking move our show. Star Trek can die.
And then it did.
That's not very funny. And then it did.
I just saw an article called 11 Reasons Why the Original Series is the Best Star Trek Show. Yes. Yes. And I don't agree with any of these points. That's so. One of them is it launched the music careers of William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
What?
Again, as a reason why it's the best Star Trek show.
It's such a somebody's memeing. Somebody's having a meme.
I'm not here to crawl through Google and make fun of writers. That's fine. People have jobs. Anyways, shall we talk about the episodes, my friend?
Let's do it. Yeah.
We start off with, again, one of the episodes often cited as the worst episode of TOS, 301, Spock's Brain. I think the main reason people don't like... So Spock's Brain is the one where Spock, an alien comes on the ship and takes his brain, and Bones essentially puppets his body around while they try to figure out where the brain went and how to get it back. I think a big reason this episode is hated, besides the fact that it's a fever dream of like pacing and writing, is... I've been saying it, and I mean it now. Leonard Nimoy is the best actor on the show, and when you take his like agency out, the show crumbles. You just watch people run around and go, I don't know what to do, and they need a character like Spock to tell people where to go, what to do, and like to bring some gravitas. He even makes Kirk better, as we know, romantically. It's just, without him, the show is lost at sea, and this episode feels like that.
Yeah, he is a load-bearing character, 100%. Because you can even have, later in this half, we have the one where Kirk is just like floating in his spacesuit out in space, and Spock is in charge for the episode. And maybe you can't have a show where Spock and McCoy are like at each other's neck all the time, and there's no Kirk. But you can have an episode like that where you have no Kirk, and everybody else can make it happen. But yeah, you lose the guy who explains stuff, gives exposition, is the comic relief, is handsome, like has chemistry with everybody. It's like, what the hell? It's a big Spock-shaped hole. They even, by the end of this one, they have the scene where McCoy's trying to do brain surgery on him, and to make the scene interesting, they have to be like, McCoy, reconnect his speech part of his brain so that we can give more lines to Leonard Nimoy.
Hi, McCoy. Good job. But that scene was so funny. Oh my god. I wrote, brain fixing scene, very fun. And then the downloading knowledge, he's like behind the big old computer, and he's like I'm trying to reassemble the ganglia. I have to fix the ganglia. I was like, this is such cartoon sci-fi, like big metal computer panel behind Spock's head. Somehow we're getting in there fixing his brain because we have the knowledge of these aliens that are like, I have it. It's like, don't forget. And he goes, shit, I forget how to reassemble A and B. This is absurd. If you care about science fiction as like hard sci-fi at all, this episode like whiffs it from top to bottom. But I don't know. Yeah, it's decently entertaining.
For sure. Yeah, I think, I'm always intrigued by the phenomenon of when we watch through a show and we get to an episode that's like widely regarded as the worst or one of the worst.
Yeah.
And I would say the hit rate of those episodes actually being the worst is like, it feels like a coin flip. Where sometimes you watch like Married with Fish Sticks from Xena Warrior Princess and you're like, oh yeah, that was the worst thing I've ever put on my television. And then sometimes you watch Spock's Brain and you're like, I could name you 10 TOS episodes that are as dumb or dumber than this. So I don't quite understand why this is like the worst. Because there's some schlocky, cheesy stuff. There's some camp here that's still pretty fun. I had a similar experience this last time. I'll mention the X-Files, but the one that I just did the Chatz Files episode about is another episode that's widely considered one of the worst. And I came out of it being like, I kind of like that episode. It was kind of fun. Because there's just a floor of, well, we're doing Star Trek. And if you like that, as long as they do Star Trek, like, how bad can it be?
Well, and also,
they kind of do it here.
So often when people say that, I'm like, what is it that you think this show is? Like, this episode features a woman who mysteriously drops onto the ship and is like traditionally beautiful and comes on and she's weird, and that's like half the show. If that's the thing you don't like, then I'm sorry, but that's a lot of the show. It's an episode where we incapacitate one of the main characters to introduce dramatic tension. Again, that's like 90% of the show. It's an episode where Kirk at the end says, these guys will be fine. We can take away their controller, their mastermind. I'm sure they have them having independent thought is a good thing. We've had like 8 of those. So it's just nothing I haven't seen before. But I think ultimately the reason I agree that it's not one of the best is removing Spock from the episode really hampers it a lot.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I think this is a low C, high D.
Yeah. I'm willing to go. I gave it a C, but a D would be fine. There's another episode soon that makes me angry that I gave a D. And I think this is just kind of like pretty bland and dumb. There's also just like the gender stuff, which is definitely not the reason why people are like, this is one of the worst. But the way that this is doing, there's the guys on the surface and they're dumb and whatever, and then the women below the surface. But don't worry, the women don't really know stuff.
No.
There's just like an ancient program that can give them knowledge. There's just no there's no reason that they're doing this gender schism thing. They were just kind of like, what if there's a gender schism? And then they say nothing about that. And at the end, Kirk is like, you know, it'd be great is if you guys sort of recombined and had kind of traditional gender norms. That would be
heteronormative romance and marriage and had sex.
Like, why are you ladies pretending to be engineers? This isn't working out for you. Like, I really detested that about this episode.
I agree. No, and it's the other thing is just TOS always has like every episode has one too many ideas. And sometimes I like that because it gives the feeling of being like seat of your pants. But when you have that many ideas, inevitably one of them is going to be like really weird and like, hey, that required a whole episode of talking for me to really appreciate. And the gender stuff, I was like, this was your third idea in an episode already crammed full of stuff. Yeah. But I agree.
I had like 3 very quick things before we close the book on Spock's brain.
Yeah.
One scene that I really enjoyed actually was when Spock's brain gets taken and then they're on the ship. They pull up the picture of like, okay, he's on a Class M planet somewhere nearby. Like we somehow deduced that. And then they pull up like, here are the 3 Class M planets that are around here. And then they just sort of have a debate. They have a little debate of like, which one is it most likely that people with this technology level would have come from? And everybody's kind of like sharing their ideas. And Sulu's like, well, this one. And, you know, Scotty's like, this one. Uhura's like, actually, I think it's this third one. I just thought that scene was fun and felt very TNG to me of the way Picard will be like, all right, give me your opinions. Yes, I will take it in and make a decision. So I like that scene. Kirk calls Scotty Spock by accident at one point. And he's like, Spock, I mean, Scotty. And that was
romantic.
Gay.
That was really gay.
Someone needs to talk to Scotty's barber.
Oh my god, they fucked my boy up so bad.
They made him look like 5 years older with this cut.
Yeah, so they changed him multiple times. I think they went back. Like later, they go back because we introduced the new cut here. It's darker. They did a bad dye job on James Doohan's hair, and it's slicked back, but also up and slicked back. So it's trying like he's doing a weird Johnny Bravo sort of look that looks terrible on his head. I mean, there's a reason they never come back to this hairstyle. I think they were just trying different stuff to make him look cooler, and it didn't work. And I think, and I'm glad they realized it within the season, because wowie. I also noted like, holy crap, Scotty's hair is bad. Yep.
Spock says when he gets his brain, there's a definite pleasurable experience connected with the hearing of your voice. Cute.
Hot.
And then, of course, we get the little McCoy roast at the end when Spock is like, actually, very interesting stuff. McCoy says, I just realized something. Should have never reconnected his mouth.
Cute. I love those little quips. This quips might be my favorite dialogue in TOS.
Yeah.
The quipping.
I think this is a C to me.
Okay. Let's keep it on C. That's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Up next, it's 302, The Enterprise Incident, which is a DC Fontana script, which is why it's good. And then you're like, but wait, there's a part in it where we have a female Klingon and they flirt with the female Klingon. That's Gene Roddenberry. Romulan. Sorry. Whoa. Yeah, there's a female Romulan. We're going to flirt with the female Romulan. That's a Gene Roddenberry edition.
The whole romance thing between her and Spock is a Gene Roddenberry edition?
Let me find... There's definitely more than one episode where I was like, this is really good, but it has one weird romance. And then I'd read the trivia, and it was like, yeah, that was Gene Roddenberry. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Fontana pointed out that the raining kisses scene was an embellishment by Gene Roddenberry, one of the few he applied to third season scripts, and that the original script only had an embrace and a kiss, with most of the passion being delivered by the Romulan commander. Gene!
Raining kisses on every square inch above the shoulder.
Gene! I know you think
that doesn't happen, right? They don't rain kisses. Or do
I think,
they?
but they're... Well, I think it turns into more... this was changed to more demure finger caresses.
And that was hot.
That was hot. It's like subtle. It's like flirtatious. I actually think that this is the interesting thing about TOS is you get the non-romance of Fontana's script, the intense sexual romance of Roddenberry's edition, and then we meet in the middle via Leonard Nimoy's insistence that I'm a sim, it's my plum bob, that we chill the fuck out and make it a subtle romance and not an overtly sexual one. And that's how that Romulan thing works out. But yeah, this is an episode where the Romulans and the it's based on the Pueblo incident, which is basically like a ship ending up during the Cold War in uncharted territory. This is one of those classic things that we see a lot on Star Trek, where it's like, fuck, we ended up in enemy territory. And I think in TOS it's interesting because TOS is so heavily inspired by shows like MASH and other shows about war and surviving during a war, or cowboy shows especially. I think the dialogue is quite good. The Romulan performances are very good. I love a Spock-focused storyline, especially about his culture. Tricking the Romulans is good. And then, for no particular reason at all, Kirk decides to disguise himself as a Romulan with the cuntiest eyebrows of all time. And there's this extremely funny scene where Scotty just looks at him quietly and just goes, like, yeah, you really do have that shit on. And Kirk's just looking at him, smiling with those big fuck-ass eyebrows. And then, similar to the Pueblo incident, it's like we steal technology, but like us stealing their technology means that they're just going to reverse engineer it. So this episode also has this whole futility of war thing that I kind of like. If we take it and then reverse engineer it, then why did we even take it? Wait, why are we doing any of this? Is this all for nothing? And that's a very written by veterans plot concept, I think. Or conceived of by people who lived in the wake of this period of time.
Yeah, and I like how that that ends up. It's fascinating to me that the romance part was not part of the original idea, because that seems so core to this, and why it works for me is it all ties together in the line at the end when the Romulan commander's in the brig and Spock says, she's like, what's the point? We're just going to figure out how to get through the cloaking device. Spock says, military secrets are the most fleeting. I hoped we shared something more permanent. So there's this connection being made between, the things that we do in wartime and these kind of like deceptions and futile acts, and how different is that really from romance? And can you be sure that one is more lasting, or are you also kind of engaging in these dalliances in a futile way?
What's the point of any of this?
Yeah. So that really worked for me. I thought that her performance was great, like you said. Cool sweater also.
Excellent sweater.
And I like seeing Spock in romance plots more than Kirk, because Kirk, it's always just like, oh, I'm Kirk and I'm exuding sexy man energy. Yeah. And it's almost like it doesn't feel like he ever cares about anything. Like, I never believe him when he's sort of forming an attachment with somebody. But with Spock, because he's always trying to bottle it up, when some of that slips out and there is a connection, as an audience member, you're like, okay, maybe Spock is putting the moves on her because it's part of the espionage, but Spock doesn't strike me as like a suave customer James Bond type who can just do that. Like, there has to be some kind of real thing underneath that for him to feel this so much. And then, yeah, there is. And he's struggling to kind of like sort out what are my emotions and where do they go. So I like that.
I totally agree. And I think you and I appreciate Spock's romance stuff more because we identify more with Spock as like a little bit more of an introvert too. And we're like, I don't want to be the type of guy who like always looks like he's ready to fuck, you know? And I agree that Kirk's sexuality often feels like it's automatic for him. Like he just wants all the time. And that's like in the character, right? That's not just, oh, it's the 60s and he's the main guy. It's like, I think Kirk is canonically somebody who can't resist the temptations of like vice. And Spock is somebody whose whole existence, and this is why the ship is so good. This is precisely why. Spock is somebody whose whole life is about holding on and resisting the urge to indulge. And Kirk can't stop indulging. So I think that they do make a wonderful pairing, but I agree that a romance featuring Spock is often, to me, much more interesting.
Yeah. My last thought is also like, there's something fun about her character where there's really just no tactical reason whatsoever for her to be interested in Spock. Like, she doesn't have an angle here. She's just like, damn, I think the Vulcans are sexy and Spock is a hot customer.
He's
and I
so
want
hot
him in my bedroom. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say same. I'm happily coupled up, but no, nothing. No. I'm just kidding.
This was an A for me. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think this is like surprisingly good in a season of what I was told is terrible stuff. I was like, oh wait, this actually works.
All right, what do we got next? Something good or something bad?
That's honeysuckle I smell. That's why I sneezed. Because it's 303, the Paradise Syndrome. The episode where they go onto a planet and everything's really nice. And then Bones says, that's honeysuckle I smell. That's just funny to hear Bones say honeysuckle. What in the Native American bullshit are we doing here? This is an episode where Kirk forgets his memory and falls in love with a Native American woman or an alien race whose culture... this is how they always do it in Star Trek, and it pisses me off every time. Not Native Americans, aliens who base their culture on Native Americans.
It seems like they are descended from Native American.
Well, it's always either descended or we went there. Like, there's one later where it's like it's the Romans, but we just visited the Romans and then left.
Right.
Meanwhile, above them, we're avoiding a huge asteroid and trying to not get killed by an asteroid. Or again, we don't want this planet to get killed by an asteroid. I wrote a lot in my notes here about the Prime Directive, because this episode is entirely about how much can we interfere in a way that's helpful, and framing that in the context of like Native Americans to me is really dicey, because so much of it is like, well, they need our help, they don't know how to do it, and it's like, yeah, sure, I guess it's an asteroid that'll blow them up, and like you guys have to get it off course or whatever, but like, what the fuck? This episode's ridiculous. Because Kirk inserted himself into this culture on purpose. He knew that something was going to happen. He wants to like be able to talk to them and help figure them out. But then because of the like mind wipe, he gets stuck there. It's like, oh, you've quote unquote gone native. We've seen this trope before. Already, we flagrantly have violated the Prime Directive. We've integrated ourselves. We've tried to change their culture. That's fine. But this is a Kirk method. This is what they call cowboy diplomacy, of like, I don't know, just throw myself at it. Like them. Kirk ignoring the Prime Directive is a Kirk thing to do. Yep. Right. So I think that's what he does, and I think he goes to people hurting, and he's like, I think I can help you. I don't care if you know how to help yourself. That's what I do. I push myself onto people. I think that there's something very imperialistic about that, and very like U.S. foreign policy about that, which is interesting that that's like baked into Kirk's character. But so much of this episode is about enjoying nature with these people and like not talking about who Native Americans were or any of the bad parts, and it feels like we're playing cowboys and Indians, and we're just kind of like wearing the costumes, because like
and they're kind of just dressed like hippies is sort of what it is.
It's basically a costume, which this is like the origin of my culture. It's not a costume, right? It was like people talking about doing this kind of thing. This wouldn't get made today, right? Like this storyline, there's probably brown face amongst those actors, but I don't think it's trying to be racist. Like, I don't think this is the thing about like racism in media and pop culture is they're not saying these people are stupid, they need our help. It's just like, we help people and these people are needing us. It made me think a lot. I like kind of fell into a rabbit hole thinking about that while the episode was just like rambling along with the love story I don't care about.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very TOS thing, that like we are going to make the people we visit unaware of something, or they're being manipulated by some greater power, or they knew long ago and have long forgotten. They're being mind controlled. Like there's almost never kind of a civilization that we're visiting where they have all their faculties about them and agency over their collective decisions. And this is one of 2 episodes in the season where we go to like an asteroid type thing, or later it's like a ship that's shaped like an asteroid that's on a bad collision course, and then one of our main guys is like, actually I'm gonna stay here because I'm in love or something. They just kind of only have so many ideas and so many ways of conceiving of the people that they're here to help.
Exactly.
And they're almost always personified through like a doe-eyed woman who's in love with the man who's here to save us. So this really feels like it's part of that kind of imperialist paternalism. And I think that is like how white people who believed in that ideology would relate to Native American peoples and Native American history, is like, oh, you're our charges. We're going to take care of you. We're going to imagine this version of making landfall in America where we're your daddies instead of your killers. It's just, it sucks. It's so bad.
It just represents cultural understandings of the time too. Like this is how a lot of people thought of it. It's like how we we had the Roman Empire episode last season, and we were saying how they have really great roads. It's like this is how people were taught about the Roman Empire for a very long time in America. It's like I'm not faulting the writers for it, but I'm faulting like the teachers who communicated that to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. This episode didn't do much for me. Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either. Not much to it either. Not a very memorable one. Anyways, speaking of memorable, it's the one I talked about earlier. What if the kids led? 304, and the children shall lead. First thing I note, these kids are probably all in their 60s and 70s now. Oops. Yeah. If not older. We are playing games surrounded by our dead parents. We are not processing the fact that they're dead. A mysterious man is telling us what to do. We have powers. We have a big kid named Tommy, who's very much like that kid from the Twilight Zone episode with the like infinite wisdom power.
Yeah, right.
Isn't he played by Bill Mumy, I believe, in that?
I want to say you're right. Yeah.
The most interesting thing about And the Children Shall Lead is the trivia that the guy who's wearing the shower curtain, who like guides the children, is, let me find. Oh, this is Leonard Nimoy's least favorite episode of the show, by the way. That's awesome.
Good choice.
Good choice. Let me find. Okay. The somewhat bizarre casting choice for Gorgon, the guy who leads the children, was Melvin Belly, a personal injury attorney known as the King of Torts. His son Caesar played one of the children. Sometimes you just hire a lawyer and you're like, can you put on a literal bath curtain and just like tell a bunch of kids and we're going to put a smoke effect on you, like a hollow effect. What? This episode's a fever
This is
dream.
the most sauceless man I wrote in my notes, the kids are friends with the ghost of Ben Stein's money. Like, that's what this is like.
Deep cut.
He's just like, all right, kids, and we're going to go to the planet and we're going to get lots of friends. And then we're going to fight and kill everybody who's not our friends. What kid would follow this guy?
Traumatized
you are not
children.
making me believe. Yeah, I don't know.
Gorgon is revealed to be the
Completely
ghost of the marauders that the kids' parents released via archaeological surveys. And so in a way he's torturing the kids and punishing them and manipulating them by giving them these like fake powers. And I love that they enact their powers by doing the hand motion for rock, paper, scissors.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Uhura sees herself as old. Oh my god, I'm old, I'm dying, no!
My greatest fear is being an old woman.
Easily the best one is Sulu. And it's Sulu, what are you seeing? He's like, danger, danger, and it's just daggers and knives. Daggers, knives, and swords just coming at him in like a cone in the view screen. It's great. The reveal at the end where they're like, we defeated you, Gorgon, and then he like, ugh, and he's ugly. I hate this reveal. I hate when shows do this. Yeah. The bad guy doesn't have to be ugly to be bad. The good-looking people are evil as well. This one just sucks top to bottom. The kids, God bless these kids. They're actually like some of the better acting in this. Like they're, engaged with the text, I guess.
Yeah.
And them fucking with everybody's brains and like making Kirk talk backwards and the guys can't hear him. That's kind of fun. It's novel as fuck. But yeah, there's a reason this is also considered one of the worst episodes of the series. Yeah,
just this thing of like, look at these badly behaved children, aren't they scary? I'm like, whatever. No. I don't know. There's just a lot in this season of the male characters being frightened by women being like, marry me, and then this episode where it's like the children are creepy, oh no. Feels like we're working through some stuff here.
Yeah.
And go ahead. Okay.
That's one of the biggest complaints of the episode is that Kirk has spent so much of it being like, ugh, the kids, ugh, we gotta fix it. It's like, can you just be nice to children for 5? Like, I know it's another one of those, like, that's who Kirk is, but like, Kirk sucks here. The only person who's nice to the children is Chapel, who's like, what if we fed them?
Yeah.
What a concept. What if we like read a book to them and fed them and talked to them, asked them what they wanted?
They get ice cream out of the replicator. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
Well, just the one thing that I liked is McCoy is trying to make this point throughout the episode of like these kids, they're not processing their grief. Like we can't help them until they process their grief. And then they all start crying at the end, and he's like so geeked about that. He's like, yes, finally, they're grieving. This is amazing. It's a little silly, but there's something in there about like grief positivity that I like.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to make the episode good.
I agree 100%. The director of this episode is Noam Chomsky's cousin.
Oh.
Is that cool? Do we care?
Jerome Chomsky.
Yeah, Marvin Chomsky, actually. Your cousin Marvin!
Oh. Wow.
Sorry for yelling. Oh my god.
How would you rate this?
That's the thing. Is the bone stuff, the little things that you like enough to take it out of F range into D? Or is this an F?
It's a good question. I mean, in my mind, F is like there's something so egregious about this that it like deserves F, you know what I mean? As opposed to D being like, this is bad. This is just, I would say don't watch this. but it isn't bad in a way that earns F. Is my thinking. So to me, it's a D. But I could be swayed otherwise.
No, I get it. I think I agree. It's a D. It's a D.
And we get the ice cream scene. That's fun.
That is true. For this next one, Magellan, this is 305. Is there in truth no beauty? We're dealing with the Medusans, specifically the Medusa named Kalos. I looked up Kalos TOS, and I got a Sonic the Hedgehog OC named Colossus. And this is so interesting. Every time I stumble into Sonic the Hedgehog OC territory, is this from an actual game? Hold on, now I need to know what this is. Anyways, they're in Truth Not Beauty. Diana Muldaur is back. She's not Pulaski still. That's many decades down the line. She's an ambassador to a little rhombus. Just kidding. That's a processor that allows us to communicate with the Medusan, because if we actually looked at the Medusan, we'd be so horrified that we would go insane. How is she able to talk to it? Well, she received Vulcan training ever since she was a kid. And so her and Spock bond over having like Vulcan training and stuff, which is pretty cool. I wrote that I'm wildly over-caffeinated at this point in the episode. And then she says, I sense a murder. She's also empathic. Every once in a while, they have to have a woman who just is empathic. And she says, I sensed a murderer. And we meet this guy, Lawrence, and he's also there on the ship helping her out. And she's like, I think you're the murderer. And he's really misogynist and gross. He wants to kill Kalos. He looks at it. It drives him insane. He dies. And then the episode has like 30 minutes left. And you're like, what is happening now? Well, Spock has to mind meld with Kalos to get the engineering knowledge to get home. The plot twist is that she is blind, and that's why he can't hurt her. And then finally, we get a great bit of Leonard Nimoy acting as the ambassador leaps into Spock's body, where we get to see Leonard Nimoy smile and be a different kind of character. And there's some good POV stuff where they beat him up. And that's basically it. And then I think they talk about how important diversity is at the end.
You want to know something about that speech at the end?
Yeah, I do.
That's the infinite diversity and infinite combinations speech.
Yeah.
So I'm reading some background information, and there's a symbol that goes with that, like a pendant that represents the idea.
They sold the pendant.
They sold the pendant. It was inserted into the script by Gene Roddenberry to sell the pendant. And he was like, Nimoy, you should wear this. Leonard Nimoy was like, no. Shatner, you should wear this. Shatner said no. Then Nimoy was like, fine. And then right before they filmed the scene, they got like a long script for the speech. And they were like, we're not filming this until you make it shorter. That sucks so much.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's just so interesting, though, because that is a line that like the queer Star Trek fandom has embraced in a big way.
It's a cool line and idea, yeah. Infinite diversity and infinite combinations.
Yeah. There's all these there's fan art everywhere of all the different characters from later shows being different colors, and we have that's like an ideal that Star Trek has always prioritized. Even in TOS, they prioritize diversity. And I give them some credit for that. But yeah, I had read that there was a commercial for a medal in this, or that there was a thinly veiled line. I saw the medal. I literally rewound the episode back and forth. Like, when did he get the medal? He literally just gets the medal at the end. There's no scene where he puts it on. It's just he has this medal. Yeah. And they were selling that. That's hilarious. I actually like this episode. I think that Diana Muldaur is a great actress.
She's great.
I think the Medusan idea, every once in a while, TOS especially will have these great sci-fi concepts of you can't look at this guy, you can't talk to him, but it's like making the template for later episodes that would do that better, and later episodes that would do the alien possesses one of our crew storylines. So there's really good stuff in this. Really, really good stuff. Even reminded me of Dax, people inside of people.
Yeah, I think what's her character's name? Diana Muldaur's character?
Dr. Miranda Jones.
Dr. Miranda Jones. Yeah, I think she's great as Dr. Jones. I really like Dr. Jones's thing of every man falls in love with her because she's so smart and interesting, and they're all like, well, you don't want to be with this box of sort of weird bad vibes. She's like, no, I do. Fuck you, go away.
That's what I want to be with.
I appreciate that we have this episode where there's a female character who's like, I'm good. I know what I want. I've been clear from the beginning that this is my guy. It's your fault, Lieutenant Leslie, or Larry, rather.
Yeah.
Jealous Larry, if you're gonna kind of lose your shit because I won't be in love with you. That's your bad, my man.
He literally says, great psychologist. Why don't you try being a woman for a change?
Yeah, awful.
Die instantly. He does.
Yeah. Goodbye. The whole bit is so strange to me that they keep being like, oh, Kolos is ugly. Like,
yeah.
It makes me think like, well, all this stuff about ugliness and beauty, and maybe ugliness isn't so bad. And they really make this thing of that question of like ugliness and associating it with virtue.
Yes.
But like, how did they don't, it's like a box of light. Like, what do you mean it's ugly? I don't get that. And then there's this thing of like, don't you want to be with a man, like a real human man, and not an ugly guy? It's strange.
I think
they didn't really sell me on that.
No, I think it conflates ugliness with incomprehensibility. Because what Kalos should really be is it's Medusa. It's like a thing so horrifying, but not horrifying in the sense of ugliness, in the sense of like Lovecraftian. Like you can't process the thing you're going to look at. This is Lovecraft, right? This is exactly Cthulhu. Yeah. That's really interesting. When I was younger, I used to be so fascinated by the Lovecraft concept of like, you can't draw this because you're not supposed to know what it looks like. In the book, the whole point is you don't know that it's a tentacle monster. But then they keep conflating that with like, and it's just so ugly. You're like, no, that's not what I think it is. I don't think that's what it is at all.
Yeah, it's much more intriguing to me as like you blink at the void and it blinks back kind of a thing.
Yes.
Of like finding the humanity in, like you're saying, that sort of Cthulhu eldritch vastness, and having these male characters who in a way have like devoted themselves to that vastness in space, and they're talking to this woman like, girl, you crazy, like what, you want to be in love with this kind of incomprehensible entity? And for her to be like, my man, look around yourself, like have you not committed yourself to a romance with a like an incomprehensible entity yourself? But it's just not quite that deep, because it's always got to be like, baby, don't you want to be my lover? Come on, kiss me. So
I really don't. I don't want to be your lover, sir.
Yeah. This episode is where they introduce, hey, we bought
a POV camera.
Yeah. And it's got a weird lens on it, and we're going to do a lot of kind of herky-jerky handheld close-ups, and they write a whole episode around it later, so.
Yeah.
But it's fun because it's just so different, the look of it. I like it.
In this one, it's so clear that Nimoy or some extra is wearing his outfit and on the side going, hiya, hiya. Like, it's not center of camera, it's left of camera. So, like, the camera operator is not the one I think is not the one attacking. It's so funny. It's so freaking funny.
There's one moment also where it gets so close to Nimoy's face that it casts a shadow on his face, and it feels like the camera almost bumps it down.
I wish.
I love it.
TOS, one of the other secret best things is it's so clearly a filmed show that it's the one of the only Star Trek shows where like you can really see the seams, and that's kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. This felt like an A.
Yeah.
B, A, B. What do you think?
Knowing that the infant diversity conversation is a commercial like bums me out, but like it's a good speech, guys.
Right.
And Kirk has delivered really good speeches. Now we have Spock with a good speech. This is a good speech episode. Diana Mulder is fantastic. And as you said before, she's one of the rare Star Trek with TOS women who's not falling over for men. She's like, no, I like a box of incomprehensible horror. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And that's great. So yeah, A is it is.
It makes me wish that we got more Pulaski in TNG.
Yeah, especially now knowing the context, like the full context that they wanted her and Data to be like Bones and Spock. It's like that would have been a really interesting idea if you could have done that. But people hated her so much that they brought back. And I love Crusher very much. Obviously,
For sure.
One of
Have
Star
two
Trek's best
doctors.
Have
Put two doctors in there. Come on.
Absolutely, doctors are always my favorite characters on these shows. Last one before the break. Let's do 306 Spectre of the Gun.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we hear some telepathy, but it's in each of our unique languages. It's speaking Swahili, Captain. God forbid we actually speak Swahili in the episode. We're just going to have her say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's making contact. The Enterprise making contact with a species known as the Melkoshians, which carries a warning to stay away. Don't come here. We're telepaths. You better not come. Spectre of the Gun. Scotty's new haircut's terrible. Oh, this is we go to the OK Corral.
One. We go to the Paramount lot. Yeah.
This episode really relies on you caring about the Old West and the Battle of the OK Corral, which I have thoughts about. But for the purpose of this episode, Kirk and the boys realize that they're in it. They're on the losing side. They don't want to actually die, though. And they realize that if they just believe hard enough that this isn't real, then it won't be. And then they don't get hurt, and they're fine. TOS loves having a good concept and then ending it by being like, and then it was just fine. There's no... It's fine.
I know. Their third acts take up, like most of the third act will take up, like, 25 minutes. And then as soon as they hit the climactic moment, they're like, all right, crack a joke, move on.
Episode over.
Yeah.
Okay, my thoughts on the Wild West. So I had a really brief dalliance with like old Western films around the time of the release of Red Dead Redemption, where I was like, I'm gonna watch True Grit, I'm gonna watch Once Upon a Time in the West, I'm gonna watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm like devouring spaghetti westerns, and I loved them. I was like, wow, these are so cool, interesting, and I love the West. Then I very quickly realized, like a lot of people do around the time of high school, that like our cultural depiction of the Old West is a facade. To cover up things like genocide. And one of the most interesting real historical examples of that is the Battle of the OK Corral, which is often depicted as this, it's the town of Tombstone, and it's the lawmakers versus the cowboys, and it's, brother versus brother. And, the movie Tombstone is like another one famous Western. The Battle of the OK Corral was like, none of this shit happened. It happened in about 20 seconds, and a bunch of people stupidly died. Like, go ahead and read about the actual battle. It wasn't cool. It wasn't based on anything badass. It is entirely myth making, and it is exemplary of how America likes to talk about the Old West. And so, to take a story that's like, oh my god, the Battle of the Corral, which we all know how it goes, is like 3 layers of myth making on top of myth making. Like, we are so distant from any sort of history that I think this episode's kind of funny, and it really does feel like we are in a movie. Not we're in history, but we're in a movie. It's not not for me.
Yeah, no, it and whatever. I like to take a crack at the Star Trek writers for being Silent Generation or boomers or whatever, who are like, oh yeah, my very specific thing that I know a lot about from being a kid is gonna be this like universally understood important thing in the future. But it's just, try to imagine like any Gen Alpha kid giving a single fuck about Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Right. And then imagine that kid's great grandkid caring so much about Wyatt Earp, and all of his friends also knowing so much and caring so much about it. It's just like, this is not how culture transfers. And maybe in the 60s, it's like, we obviously live in a different media world now than they did in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Where you could kind of like myth make and maintain a myth for a longer stretch of time. But this episode does not hold up because you have moments where one guy's like, "Yeah, I'm a doctor, Doc Holliday," and the music is like dun dun, and you're like, "I don't know. Could somebody fill me in on like Doc Holliday's whole deal real quick? I don't know if I'm supposed to be scared or something."
Gotta get a little panel in the corner that really just quickly says who this guy is. And
Yeah, I want the comic book thing of like the asterisk, and they're like, Doc Holliday was introduced in the Old West #5. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Let me read that real quick. So none of that works. And like you're saying, they try to be like, oh, yeah, Kirk's like, my ancestors settled the West, so they're putting us in a story about the West. Well, like, why is Kirk so connected to that part of his family history again when this is way, 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 way later? I don't know. It's just there are a lot of things that I find annoying about that. I do like the concept of Spock being like, you guys, the bullets aren't real. You just have to think really hard. And all of them are like, I don't know, Spock, the bullets seem real. And he's like, fuck, fine. Grabs them all by the
yeah.
They're not real.
I'm gonna mind meld you to believe that they're not real. Such a hand wave.
No, I kind of like that though. Like none of them can quite get over their fear of being shot enough to see things for what they are. So Spock has to like forcibly get the fear out of their brain.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Quite fun. Quite funny, I think.
Yeah.
It's also just funny because this episode already has so much artifice that when he's like, guys, the bullets aren't real, it's like, dog, none of this is real. If I knock on that old saloon, it's gonna fall over. Like, what do you mean?
This was the
else?
last episode to air on NBC at 10 p.m. on Fridays, which makes me wonder,
when did it air after that, or where?
yeah, did they stop airing them after this episode or something?
So it was remastered, preceded 3 weeks earlier by the remasteration. I don't know.
It still has an air date, so maybe they just moved it again.
Yeah.
Huh.
It is really funny watching these first 6 though and being like, this is a 10 p.m. on Friday show. It's so late. I'm tired. What the fuck?
I want to go to bed.
I want to go to bed. What's happening on the show?
Yeah. This is funny. This was DeForest Kelley's 3rd time playing a character in the gunfight at the OK Corral.
At this point in history, that was your career. Every other show you're on, you're gonna play a cowboy in the OK Corral. Sorry.
Previously, he had appeared in season 4, episode 8 of You Are There as Ike Clanton. Then he played Morgan Earp in 1957's gunfight at the OK Corral.
Do you think any actor can say that they played every Earp sibling?
I don't know. DeForest Kelley seems like he's got a good claim.
He's close. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's close.
There's also the whole Chekov subplot. He's like one of the 3 who ends up in a situation where a woman says, "Marry me, spaceman," and immediately he gets up and he's like, "Ooh, hold on. I was just here to smooch you and stuff. I don't know about that.
This makes me marriage.
This makes me nervous. However he would say it.
Oh yeah, the V's and W's. Yeah. I love when we just kill Chekov to progress the plot. And then
they started to figure out in this season, like Spock has a load-bearing role, Chekov is, if everybody's going to get brain possessed by something, you got to start with Chekov because Walter Koenig can like throw the stress into the stratosphere by himself. And that's a lot of fun.
Later when he's like, later when he has to be like, you killed my brother. And they're like, he doesn't have a brother.
I know. That was awesome. Sue was like, what's his deal? Oh, he doesn't have a brother.
He doesn't have
so
a brother.
Weird.
Quit it.
Huh.
What do you rate Spectre of the God of Magellan?
Like a B. I don't know. It was fine. There's some fun stuff. It could be a C, but it's no higher than a B.
Yeah, let's leave it a B. Fine. As money was not available for a full set, director Vincent McAveety was asked to use a stylized western street of false building fronts. Oh my god, it really is exactly that. That's fun. That's really fun. Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll discuss Day of the Dove and the rest of Star Trek TOS Season 3, Part 1. Back after this.
Hello and welcome back to TrekChatz, a Star Trek podcast hosted by two best friends from Chatz, a television podcast. That's us. I'm Magellan, that's Allen. Hey Allen, how you doing?
If I was a robot, would you still love me?
If you're a robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy, listener.
Yeah,
Wow.
my attitude towards robots is more TNG than TOS, I would say.
Kinky. Kinky boots.
Kinky boots, fully functional kinky boots. Beep boop boop. Hey, we watched the second half of the first half of season 3 of Star Trek, the original series, and we're going to talk about it, starting with episode 7, Day of the Dove. Don't blame me, I voted for Kodos.
Yes!
It's for those simps out there.
The Stanford improvisers. So we get beamed out to the planet, so are the Klingons. This is kind of like the beta of that episode with the languages from TNG that you like.
Gelada, Tanagra, that one. Darmok.
Brain! You're twice on this recording. Once that y'all don't get to hear.
Gelad at Tanagra.
Your photographic memory is remarkable. It's like that one, but it's a whole race of people, and they're on like a smaller planet. It's kind of dumb. The thing is, I love the Klingons, and also I love Kang because he's fun and a good parallel to Kirk, just like all the other Klingons and Romulans. Like they always have the bad guy just be a parallel to Kirk. This episode's very explicitly that, and it's kind of a childish, like a very simplistic metaphor. What if we just put the good guys and the bad guys on a place and fed off of their anger? I wish this episode could have made a bigger point about how, like, corporations or evil empire wants people to fight amongst themselves to create, profit and value to the shareholders. But like, that's not really here. This is mostly just some good Klingon and human performances, and we're gonna see Kang again in Deep Space Nine, so it's fun to see the actor here for the first time.
I agree. Yeah, it's it takes a bit to kind of get to where it's going, because it's like, whoa, why is Chekov mad? And he keeps screaming about his brother, and then it's the moment we were describing is maybe 10
who
minutes
is Piotr?
later. Who's Piotr?
The way Sulu says, who is Piotr?
Yeah, so there's a lot of kind of what's going on until we know what's going on, maybe 25-30 minutes in, and then like you were saying, it's just sort of a fun, we picked up swords in the sword room and we're fighting, but maybe we shouldn't fight, but it's not so deep, unfortunately.
Not really.
This one I was watching on the subway, and Amanda was sitting next to me, and she saw the kind of floating energy thing. She was like, oh my gosh, is that the crystal entity's mom? And I was like, it is an entity.
Yeah.
So your entities, I said.
I wonder how they make these energy entities in TOS. Like, what's the effect being done?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is there any way to look this up? Not really, not easily. Or it's just like a beam of reflecting and refracting light, or like or sphere of colorful lights. It's really weird. I like that.
I was watching a video, Instagram, like short video yesterday, where it's Christopher Nolan at the place where they like print, they were making the film prints of the Odyssey, and he started talking to I think this is like I forget, I recognize the guy, it's like some news guy, and he's like, look at this guy, he's cutting the film together. And they were doing it in the way of like, you snip the film strip and then you like paste it and the whole thing. And then there was another guy who was showing how they do color grading on film, which is like you get your little cyan filter, your red filter. You try to figure out, okay, how much of each color do we want? And then they run the film through this machine that like shines the right color light for a certain amount of time to like change the color of the film. Which makes me think that an effect like this, there's probably some way of you're like shining a light onto the film strip that like creates that effect, is my guess.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The other effect here, we got to talk about the Klingons. I don't really want to do a future Trek segment on this, but once again, the Klingons here are, it's not brown. It is brown face. I mean, I think they're like copper is the thing.
Yeah. Also, the Kang is a Syrian American guy.
Bong! Listeners don't know that I just made a cool face.
That was fun. Michael Ansara.
Habibi, what's up? Hold on. Wait.
But there is something going on. There's something. Like, even if that particular guy is like a geographically closer race to whoever the Klingons are supposed to be like, there still is this like, we're putting a lot of bronze on these people to make them feel like a racial other is what it feels like we're doing.
I just really want to quickly say, I'm looking at pictures of Michael Ansara outside of makeup. He looks like my uncles. Like, this is like my mom's brother. I'm not even doing a bit. That's like really remarkable. Oh God! Now with the beard too, I'm seeing it all together. Stop! That's my uncle. That's uncle coded. That's Unk. No, that's uncle. That's not.
Wait,
Unk.
Kang was in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Later. But all of them were. Every Klingon was
like,
actually in Deep Space Nine.
Is he like the bad guy that the old Klingon guys are trying to fight or something?
Listener, you already know if I try to guess and I'm wrong, you're going to correct me, so I'm not going to say anything. Remember the episode Blood Oath in season 2? You got all the different Klingons, and there's like the Worf drama. It's that one has all three of Kor, Koloth, and Kang.
Okay.
I don't remember which one specifically he was in that, but
okay.
Yeah, he's in that. So yeah, they bring them all back. The reason I bring that up in like the history of the Klingons, by the way, is number one, it is brownface. It's also like they're trying to just do like Vikings. Like they don't feel like they're Asian, specifically Asian or like Mongolian stereotypes. They're just culturally they're like evil Vikings, but they did darken their skin. Maybe they're trying to like bronze or something, but that still feels like blackface-ish. And also they undo this and then redo this like 5 times in the history of the franchise because they're going to way down the line explain why these Klingons look different from the TNG forward Klingons, and then they're going to also retroactively explain why they went back. And it's kind of interesting, kind of stupid. So they will do and undo this a lot. But Klingons are cool. I like Klingons in whatever form they come from. And one of the other fun things about this episode, and speaking of how like artificial TOS can be, is the alien just like gives everybody swords. They're like, you guys don't have blasters, everybody gets a sword. And so you have scenes of guards walking around just carrying sabers, which is really funny. They're just walking around the deck like holding a saber and then having saber fights, and it all looks very fake and very like costume city, party city.
I will say the fight choreography of TOS, where they do the like hit you with the that looks better to me when they're holding a sword and
then like
I don't it's some like karate chop or like bonk with my 2 fists. So I liked seeing them have swords.
I hated the scene. I did too. I hated the scene where Chekov, influenced by the alien, makes you racist. He refuses to kill Kang's wife Mara because she's beautiful, and then he forces himself on her to kiss her. Whoa, Chekov! Whoa!
He ripped her shirt like it goes.
We finally introduce a female Klingon, and it's this. Mind you, female Klingons will go on to be some of the coolest characters on the show later. Like, I don't know. This episode feels like the baby toy scraps of something that will become one of my favorite things in all of Star Trek, and I give it credit for like setting the foundation, but
yeah, TOS has just shown us time and time again that it like can't handle this. It can't do like other people's and women well.
Yeah, and it's the other people's thing is like a budget thing, right? Like they paint their skin just to make them other without having to get prosthetics. That's another reason why the Klingons are like this. But like, yeah, with the women stuff, it's like you could just simply not do this.
Yeah.
There needs to be a woman on every episode, or else it's the rules.
Trying to think. There's one moment where Kirk is doing a captain's log, and he says, "Oh, wait, are you there?"
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, my
Okay.
camera's off for a bit.
Got it. Okay. Kirk's doing a captain's log, and he says "Stardate Armageddon," which is just like so dramatic, so dramatic. I don't even know what day it is. It's Armageddon in here.
Oh,
like,
God, sucks.
you've had worse situations, my guy.
You're gonna be fine.
Go off. Yeah, I don't know. There's some fun little bits in this one and some dumb bad bits too.
We just need to get along, and then it'll go away. And so, we're all friends here. Klingon slaps him on the back really hard. And the alien's like, and flies out into space. And solidarity. The alien floating out of the ship, like the beam of light going. That was funny.
Yeah.
Anything else from this one?
Nah. That's a B, I think.
That's a B. I like Kang a lot. That's Habibi right there. Michael and Sarah.
All right,
Okay.
let's talk about number 8.
The best episode title of the whole goddamn show. Season 3, episode 8. For the world is hollow, and I have touched the sky.
So goated. That title goes hard.
It does get less goated when you hear them say it in the episode. They also do that later in Plato's Stepchildren. They do that a couple, and in Wink of an Eye, where you're like, the episode title is cool. Don't say it. So this is a pretty novel sci-fi concept where we go to a ship full of people who don't realize that their ship is a ship. They think it's the whole world. And Kirk is trying to, like, the crew is trying to get into that society. Particularly, McCoy has a medical emergency with something called xenopolycythemia. Yes, I practiced saying that. Nice. And he falls, tell me if you've heard this before, he falls in love with a woman on the ship. And there's a whole love story thing there. I like it when McCoy gets the love story. It's very, very rare. Is this sort of the only times, in fact, that McCoy's gotten to have the love story?
Maybe, because there was that one where it was like someone from his past, but it was Salt Bay instead. Who they're making a magic card of. They started to tease the Star Trek magic cards in between the last one.
This is Trek news, yeah.
Yeah, and they're gonna have Salt Bay as a card. So,
what's the card from that set that you're the most excited about?
I really was charmed by the way that they made Consider the Prime Directive. The art of it is like someone being like, "Fuck, what do I do?" And then it's a modal card where you pick what it does when you cast it. It's a win. It's a flavor win.
Let me see if I can find this magic.
It's one of the ones I texted you, I think.
Yes, I just for the listener though. Oh, yeah. This is some great art. Look at this, listener.
Yeah.
Or viewer.
Also, they're special card frames for. Like, look, there's one. Here, I'll send this to you. This is a Captain Janeway card. I'm so excited to hang out with Janeway.
Oh, that's Kang, by the way. Is this picture you sent me Kang later?
Yeah, that's when they haven't darkened disc again.
Okay.
And he's in DS9. This is a Janeway card with. Wow. Isn't that so cool? The Star Trek screen is the frame.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks like there'll be some flavor wins. They've got some cards that are like, there's a card type in Magic called Sagas, which are like every turn that you have a saga out, it like goes to its next chapter, and each chapter does something. and they've made cards that represent episodes. So each chapter is like a beat from the plot of the episode. So like this is Amok Time.
Oh my gosh.
So first chapter, target creature you control fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. Then you gain 3 life. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, which is like they fake Kirk's death in the episode.
Come back to the ship.
Bring it back to life. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
very
cute?
fun. That's so cute.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that'll be a fun set.
I should look through these more. So at least the TOS one, or all of them. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, they've only spoiled like this is like a fifth of all the cards that are.
Oh,
come
okay.
out, so,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyways, where are we? Oh, for the world is hollow. Yeah. Some other stuff that happens. McCoy ends up marrying Nateria, and he gets that like little instrument of obedience. There's like the Book of the People. Let's talk about the instrument of obedience. You know.
Yeah, the moment where the boss computer guy, which of course is another fucking computer, as the king of the shit, whatever. When it's like, all right, if you want McCoy to live here, there has to be the insertion of the instrument of obedience. And I wrote, sorry, lady, these guys aren't confident enough in their masculinity for that.
Is that a pegging joke, Magellan?
Yeah, it's a begging joke.
All right, just making sure. No, I just wanted like
insertion of the instrument of obedience.
Basically, they recognize her handwriting as being similar to that of, or the book being similar to something called the Fabrini, a group that died 10,000 years ago. The Fabrini sent the last of their race out on a ship. The problem is that the people on the ship forgot that it was a ship and never arrived at their destination. So Kirk's like, we're going to fast track you to your destination, and you're going to like go, and we're going to have like the Enterprise is going to go meet you there. So we might see Nateria again. We will not see Nateria again, but we might. We will not.
I really like the sci-fi concepts that go into this episode, and I think it's just not a great execution of them. But I love people on a ship who don't know it's a ship. The people who built this died a long time ago. Whoa, we never got to our destination. Like, all that stuff is cool. I'm into it. And I also love the little turn where they tell McCoy's lady friend what's going on, and she's like, oh my god, my whole world is all fucked up. And then she's like, actually, I processed it and I'm cool. I'm staying. I'm staying here. It's all fine. Anyway, bye, McCoy. that bit's fun.
It's another thing you were talking about, though, where the third act is like, it's good.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, I'll stay with you. And she says, no, I don't think so. It's not really good for the show if you stay here. And he's like, what show? What are you talking about?
The what?
I love you.
The what? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have any other notes. Yeah, this is like, I would read a great short story about this.
Yeah. On the page, this one probably is more interesting.
Yeah, the problem is it has the TOS problem of the, like, it runs out of steam. And it gets a C from me.
I think that's fair.
Moving on. 309, The Tholian Web, a very well-regarded episode of Star Trek TOS. Or a decently well-regarded. I think it's mostly just this episode's, like, concept will come back in a later series. Like, this whole storyline gets reintroduced. And it's one I've heard about. Like, I think I had seen this one before because the military maneuver that Spock has to do in this one actually got, like... In 1997, it became known that United States Customs investigators had used the name the Tholian Web for a sting operation designed to root out and arrest child porn criminals.
Okay.
Also, in 2010, Jerry Beyer of the Texas Tech University School of Law cited a video recording introduced in this as the first example of a video will.
The part where Kirk...
He's like, you better be good.
Thing. Interesting.
Right? Every once in a while, TS just stumbles into being the first to do something, and you're like, fuck, really? No one did a video will?
I guess that makes sense. If it's the 60s, like, who's got the means to record themselves like that?
And lastly, political science have compared the metaphor of the entrapment in this episode with the deep challenges politicians and admins face when confronted with competing factions. It's called making a hard decision. I feel like sometimes military strategists are just like, this is like symbolic of what we have to deal with in the Vietnam War. And it's like, it's called making a hard decision, asshole. Go make it. That's your job. Pisses me off, man. Because isn't it Spock being like, if we leave, we get blown up, but if we stay, we have to fight. Like, it's just
Right. Yeah.
rock in a hard place.
Kirk's dead, and we got to check or something. Yeah.
I like it when Spock has to do this. I like it when Spock leads. This episode's a lot of. I'm poo-pooing. This is a good episode. It's got good tension building. You take Kirk out, and Spock gets to be in the spotlight. Isn't this also kind of a Babylon Squared thing where it's like, oh, he's there, but he's in different. I knew that would activate you.
What's that guy's name? Who's in time in Babylon 5? That little guy.
Oh, the little guy. Oh,
that little creature guy.
Oh my God, he's like got a hump. I can see him. Ryan Slinsky used him as his background for a while.
Creature time traveler.
Little creature.
It's like starts with a Z.
Yes. People are so mad. I can like hear people being mad at us. Shut up. Stop yelling.
Zippo. 5. Time travel. Zarda. Zarbit. Zerbo.
Zingle. Zingu.
Zingle.
Zathras. I'm sweating. I've never felt so seen by our listeners and viewers. That was intense. Okay, what we're talking about is a Babylon 5 episode called Babylon Squared. We're not going to get into it because that's a huge spoiler for that show. But that show also deals with like somebody going back and forth between dimensions. So in this episode, Kirk is kind of going back and forth. He's in the mirror. He's stuck in the web. He's in the place where the aliens take him. That's kind of cool. Also, the aliens in this, the Loskeen, are like a geometric shape with eyes, which is a great alien design.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I get it. I understand why people like this one. Whenever TOS does, this is my last point real quickly. Whenever TOS does like a classic military drama, but in the frame of sci-fi, I'm like, yeah, that's what the show does best, baby. Keep doing that.
Yeah, and I think to the point that you made about about Spock's brain, that episode fails because you take Spock out and then you don't do something with like the dynamics that are left. Because you could think of an interesting story where it's like, okay, what is the Kirk-McCoy relationship like when Spock is not in the episode? And they just don't do that. And here they're like, okay, take Kirk out of the episode, and then we're going to really examine the Spock-McCoy relationship without Kirk being there to kind of temper the two of them and keep them from like fighting each other and undermining each other the whole time.
Yeah.
So you see them get to the point where it's like, oh, you guys could kind of mess up the whole vibe of the ship if McCoy's constantly in the room like, I think you killed Kirk because you want to be captain, you pointy-eared butthead. And Spock's like, McCoy, fuck you. I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to open up to you. I don't need to spend time with you. And then they go watch the video, Kirk's video, which I think is a great scene.
Yeah.
And Kirk's basically like, hey guys, I know you're probably not getting along very well. Like,
get it the fuck together.
Yeah, you guys are on the same team. McCoy, like, Spock's in charge. Hey, Spock, like, listen to McCoy and listen to his advice. All right, have fun. And then that being brought back also in the little comedic beat at the end where Kirk's like, did you guys watch my video? And they're like, no. What video? What are you talking about? Oh, okay.
And he's like, you guys just got along without hearing the video? And they're like, yeah, we like get along. It's like not even a big deal.
Yeah, we're good. We don't.
It's
good. I mean, we're happy you're back. Yeah, that part's fun.
Yeah, very funny. Any other thoughts?
Another great Chekov crash out at the beginning. This is the episode where they're like, we really need to use that handheld camera more. Like, we spent a lot of money on this camera, so we need everybody to have a crash out where we film them in first person. Yeah,
there's a scene where somebody's like, I'm sad to announce that we think that Captain Kirk is dead, and then one random guy goes,
I think that's Chekov
That's Chekov. I thought it was like some random guy.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Can you relax? Just calm down.
They like thought he was good, and they let him come to the meeting, and then he freaks out again.
He in fact is not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see why this one's well regarded though. Like it's just kind of a cool Bones and Spock, and the concept of like we are having a web built around us that will trap us forever, and we can't warp out of it is like pretty interesting. I think that's the important thing to take away from this one. I get why people love it.
Yeah, and it's fun to see Spock in charge and figure out like, oh, this is why Spock isn't in charge. Like the moment where Uhura's like, Spock, are we gonna die? And he's like, yeah, maybe.
Very likely.
It's like oh, okay.
Yeah, literally next episode we see how Kirk handles it when Uhura's like, are we gonna die? And he's like, I'm sure we'll figure some bullshit out by the third act. We always do.
What would you rate Tholian Web?
I think it's an A. I really like this.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. What do we got now? Number 10, right?
Plato's Stepchildren. I have a lot of thoughts on this one. Well, not a lot. I have thoughts on this one.
Okay.
We go to a planet. The planet mimics they're the Platonians. They're like the ancient Romans, except they have telekinetic powers that they got from the race that they were before they started copying the Romans, I guess. Point is, when you're on this planet for long enough, if you train yourself or you like get oh no, it's from the food. It's from the food. That's what it was. Because or the drink or something, the water. Because like Spock and Kirk are like, can we have powers? Insane thing to do, by the way. They meet a man named Alexander, who is a little person, and he's like, I don't think that the king is good. I think it's bad that we have an emperor or whatever. I don't think I want to be emperor because I'm just a guy. And for some reason, I don't have powers. I'm the only person here who doesn't. That's a really cool idea. We don't do much with it. And then...
Didn't they also turn him into a little person? Was it like part of the plot or something? I don't remember. I think that was mentioned, but I could be wrong.
No, I think it was because he's a little person, he can't have telekinesis, which is insane. Because the lack of pituitary growth hormone makes him unable to metabolize kieranide and gain telekinesis.
Okay.
Wildly problematic. This episode's wildly problematic for so many reasons. Also, at the end, they also have a famous scene where they make Kirk and Spock dance. This is an excuse for them to do acting like they're being controlled by telekinesis and going, whoa, I'm being tossed around. And when you remember that that's actors doing that to themselves, it gets kind of funny. It's like hard to believe the dramatic tension of this episode, because at the end they bring down Chapel and Uhura and then they force them into non-consensual kisses with Kirk and Spock. And this is how we get the first ever interracial kiss on television.
It's
network television. What's the thank you.
It's described that way, but it's funny because in the Wikipedia for it, it's like, oh, it's described that way, but it's not exactly the first. And then there's a whole Wikipedia page. There's an argument, which I think is a good argument, that the show I Love Lucy is an interracial relationship because Desi Arnaz is Latino.
The second one was also William Shatner in the 50s on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Okay, yeah.
The third one is in the show called Sea Hunt.
Yeah, Sea Hunt.
Adventures in Paradise, I Spy. Technically Mirror Mirror because Marlena is Eurasian. Interesting. I mean, this really
gets at like what is race is really the thing.
I Love Lucy's one is so interesting because Desi Arnaz, a lot of the reason he was able to become famous here is that he was a like light-skinned Cuban man. So that gets into colorism. So I think the truth of it is a couple things. And this is like the most interesting thing about Plato's Stepchildren, TVH. When we see the image of Uhura and Kirk kissing, that reads as a diversity win, as a monumental moment in television, bold, controversial, 1968, holy crap, civil rights movement. That's why I think it's important, not for it being literally historically the actual first.
Right. It's a white man and a black woman kissing on television in the U.S. in the 1960s, which is a big deal.
That's a huge deal. it being the first is irrelevant because, as you said, race is it's a cultural concept. So like, it technically is not the first, or even close. And also, it's unfortunately like not even a romantic kiss. It's not even like, oh man, we're gonna die, I love you. It's like they're forcing us to kiss each other.
Yeah.
Learning that context really bummed me the fuck out. I was like, oh, that's what this whole thing was about? They teach this in school. Like, my partner is in media. She was in media studies classes in college, and she was like, I learned about this kiss. And I didn't ask for more details about like the context of what was technically the first, but she's like, I knew about this. Everybody knows about this kiss. It's one of the most famous things about TOS. And I just got to say, finally seeing the context, I was like, oh. Not even because, like, I'm so woke that, like, I see interracial kisses all the time. But, like, this doesn't feel like a huge win other than the imagery of it. We're putting that on newspapers at the time. That's huge. And as you said, white man, black woman, that is huge. But
right, but it's not romantic, right?
No.
Is the thing that it's just kind of like, it feels the same as them being forced to dance or Spock being forced to sing or whatever. It's like not a nice moment. It's a kind of scary moment.
Yeah. And also, as you said in your notes, it really focuses the camera on Kirk's face. Like, Uhura is
turns Nichelle Nichols, her face, like, away, so we get the back of her head, and we zoom in on Kirk's eyes, like, looking at everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think? What do you have to say about Play-Doh Stepchildren?
Oh, there's something in the Wikipedia here, something interesting. Nichelle Nichols observes that Play-Doh Stepchildren received a huge response. We received one of the largest batches of fan mail ever, all of it very positive, with many addressed to me from girls wondering how it felt to kiss Captain Kirk, and many to him from guys wondering the same thing about me. However, almost no one found the kiss offensive, except from a single mildly negative letter from one white Southerner who wrote, quote, I'm totally opposed to the mixing of the races. However, anytime a red-blooded American boy like Captain Kirk gets a beautiful dame in his arms that looks like Uhura, he ain't gonna fight it. It's so wild.
I'm a gasp right now, listener. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And little, she's hot, so it's fine. It's cool. Oh, what?
Right. No, it's like,
huh?
Okay, I guess we're ready for this, America. I don't know. Yeah, I think this episode's okay. There's a lot of like, we're being forced to do stuff that feels very uncomfy, and it makes me not love it. I now understand why we're celebrating the launch of Leonard Nimoy's music career, because Spock singing is like
so
kind of beautiful. It's
so
like a really
good.
great moment. And you know, even if the kiss is kind of a contextually kind of strange, it's the interaction between Uhura and Captain Kirk in the scene. I'm like, you know what? I kind of wish they had more of a thing more
Me
often.
too. Me too.
There's some chemistry here that is being completely underused in this show. So it's all right.
I agree with you 100%. Like the whole I'm scared and he's like, it's going to be okay. He's comforting her in that moment. Like that is, yeah, there's a tenderness there that you don't even see from Kirk very often.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of the best characterization Uhura has gotten ever.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think it's played better than if I heard this described, I'd be like, oh, that's an annoying thing. But the way that she talks about, like, I'm trying to tell myself by thinking about like all these other bad situations we've been in, and then your voice comes on over the comms and things are chill. Like, I don't know, because I believe that like the crew respects Kirk.
Yes.
And so for her to express like, I have a lot of respect and faith in you as a captain, and there's like something kind of romantic making its way into that, works for me in the way that they do it in this scene. And I just think this show would be more interesting if they sent Chapel and Uhura on away missions more often.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like you want to watch Strange New Worlds, where they send Chapel and Uhura on away missions.
Yeah, I guess so. I do.
New season starts soon, by the way. Final season, I think.
Oh.
Final or penultimate? Anyways. Yeah, we could talk about the Alexander of it all. and the weirdness of the casting of a little person. Not the weirdness, but just the like it being in the plot. And like everybody's very nice to him, right? They're like really, really nice to him. Like, oh, I understand your problem. And like, I totally agree. We shouldn't have emperors. And like, you seem like a nice person. Oh, you can have the knife. I don't think that you would want to kill him. Like, you seem like fundamentally you believe in this. But the whole growth hormone, meaning that you don't have telekinesis, is just weird. It just wouldn't happen today.
Yeah. It made me think about, you know, you get these shows from like the 60s that will do this kind of thing with little people. Like there was some weirdness with them in The Prisoner, or even like Twin Peaks is like, oh yeah. And there's something about that where we obviously today feel, wow, this is so strange and othering. And that guy is getting work in a way where, like,
I was about to say that.
We just don't. The modern version is like, oh, we just won't have anybody who looks like this in a show. And then that way we're not doing anything wrong or offensive. We're just hiring like traditionally hot people who have like slightly different shades of skin color from each other. And I'm not saying that one thing is like good or bad or whatever, but there seemed to be, to me, a little more interest in like, even if we're going to be tokenizing or we're going to be super fucking weird about it, like, yeah, let's cast some people who look different than you would expect to see on Star Trek and see what that's all about. And I wish we could find today a way of like casting diversely that we can have a storyline where it's like, yeah, this person is a little person and that is a thing and it has significance, but it's not all encompassing or totalizing for their character.
Yeah.
And we just haven't figured that out.
Right.
So.
No, I you're so right. We've got things like Fantasy Island and The Prisoner being like, oh my God, look, there's a little person. Like, they ain't that interesting. But like you said, they're getting work. And they deserve to have work. Nowadays, it's like, it's Peter Dinklage and not many other people.
Right.
And again, even Peter Dinklage's most famous role in Game of Thrones is very much his stature defines the character. So it's like, we are not at a point even now where somebody can be a little person and have that not be the thing.
Right.
Maybe Jackass with Wheat Man.
Yeah.
It's just depressing as fuck to say, but like,
maybe, yeah.
Jackass kind of, carving out a niche. Anyways, yeah, I don't love Plato's Stepchildren, but I actually do like the performance of Alexander here. I think he's like remarkably good and nuanced, and the kiss is significant, but it has its problems. Michael Dunn is the name of the actor who plays Alexander here. Oh golly, he died at 38 years old. Wow,
That's awful.
that's so sad. R.I.P. Michael Dunn.
How would you rate this one? B. C.
I think a C.
Okay.
It's like a high C, like a delicious fruity beverage, but it's still a C. All right, let's keep moving. Let's crank. We got 2 left. Wink of an eye, 311. This episode has such a cool concept. What if you existed in the Speed Force dimension? The problem is they can't decide if they want it to be another dimension or if they want it to be that you're moving really quickly. And every time you try to think about the logic of this episode, it makes no sense at all. Kirk is stuck in the speedy dimension. Everyone goes, I hear insects. What's going on? They realize later in a great scene, Spock plays down the footage of it and of the race, sending a message, and speeds it up and goes, it sounds like insects. Then Kirk is stuck in the dimension where the woman is like, and this also makes no fucking sense. She's like, we need to breed with your race because we're dying. But every time we breed with humans, like, they burn out because they can't exist in the speed dimension for too long. So we need to like fix the gene pool so that we can survive. And he's like, well, that's crazy. And then he brings in Spock into the speed dimension. And in the best scene of the whole episode, they figure out they can just drink a little antidote to get out of the speed dimension. But Spock stays a little bit longer and instantaneously fixes the entire ship. This episode's cool in concept and stupid in execution.
Yeah. I love the moment where Kirk's like, he drinks the antidote, sort of shrugs. It's not working. What the?
Captain, you are speaking very slowly. He's clearly either they're slowing the tape down or he's just going.
Yeah. And I think they do a good job of distinguishing when we're in speedy dimension or not. They do Dutch angles when we're fast. So,
yeah.
And they do, I think it's really clever. Like when Spock speeds up, camera's on Spock. He's in the med bay or whatever with McCoy and Chapel, I think. And as he's speeding up, they tilt the camera to be like, look, he's fast now. Then he does some stuff. He leaves the scene. Then we pan back over, tilted camera, and then we tilt the camera back to a neutral position. And that's when McCoy and Chapel kind of like snap back into moving. And they're like, where'd he go? And I just thought that was really cool because like we do that all in a single shot. Like Spock's in Speedy Town. We come back. We're like, okay, guys, you can move again. There's no other glitz or trick or lighting change. It's really just the angle of the camera. Pretty clever.
And it makes sense. You watch it, you're explaining it as if it is a technically impressive moment, but it's done all in camera, and that's just like really, really good and makes sense naturally to the viewer's eye. Yeah. The thing that puts them in the speed dimension is the coffee. That's funny. Remember that episode of Futurama where Fry drinks too much coffee? Yes. That's totally based on this.
You're right. You're so right. Fry drinking the coffee episode.
One of my favorite Futurama episodes is totally based on this. I didn't realize that until right now.
The episode is inspired by 22 short films about Springfield.
Oh, because that's one story in it, right?
I think so, yeah.
Wait, that's
in this episode,
funny.
Earth President Richard Nixon issues every citizen a $300 tax rebate.
Whoa!
Spends their money in a different way. Oh my god, that's so funny. And Fry's way of spending it is he just drinks 100 cups of coffee. Oh my god, what a good show.
Seriously, I feel like watching finishing TOS is gonna make me immediately want to watch Futurama.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. And it's not, oh my god, I can't believe how right that is. And I was like, oh my god, why is there a yeoman who brings them coffee? Not realizing that was going to be a plot detail. And I wrote in my notes, like, that's a job I really want. I want to be on the Enterprise, not saving the day, but just like, I have your coffee. Like, it's actually a really useful, important job. And they find some like chemical in there that gives them the Speed Force. It's very, the Flash comics deal with this so well. They live in this storytelling concept of being in a different dimension where you're faster and your metabolism accelerates. My last big note about this one, though, first of all, the lady looks like 1960s Lisa Kudrow, and that's funny.
Sure.
If you gender swap this episode, it is the most problematic episode of all time.
Say more about that.
Lady, I need you to come here and breed with me to fix my race. I'm going to force you into a dimension where only I can see you. And that's also the movie Passengers. Remember the movie Passengers? The one where it's like Chris...
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's basically... who is it? Who's the actors in it? Chris? It's a Chris of some sort. Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt brings Jennifer... Everybody in society or a bunch of people are on a ship and they're all in stasis, but then he wakes up and he wakes her up out of stasis to like repopulate. But she's like, I didn't ask to be woken up. Now I don't get to live with any of my family anymore. And it's like a horror romance, kind of. That's kind of what's happening here. That's all I got.
And she also has sort of a friend who's wearing like a really shiny femme kind of thing.
Yep.
I like their little choker communicators. That's a fun costume piece. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't
This
care
is
about
one
plot
of
holes.
those. Yeah, this is one of those romances where it's like, I don't believe that Kirk cares for this woman whatsoever. You can't make me think that.
They have to justify it though. Like the longer you're in the Speed Force, the more domicile you get. That's the only reason he starts to be like, oh, maybe I could.
Yeah.
Also,
It's like a B, right?
yeah, it's got too many good ideas to be lower than a B. Too many cool concepts. My last like rules. I don't like to rule lawyer stuff ever. You know that. If you were in the Speed Force dimension, if you were in Speed dimension and you stood still, people would see you. You're still standing still. Yeah, your molecules are vibrating, as they like to say in Superman or whatever. But like, you would still see the person. They're not just say they're in a different dimension. But they have to also say like they're metabolism. Whatever. Fine. It's fine. This is a B.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Last episode, 312, the empath.
The empath.
What happens?
Pretty bold of Star Trek to invent anime in this episode. I would
Took
say.
them long enough. Jam in the holograms.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what part of it is anime to you?
The whole. So this episode, we get kidnapped or something, and sent to like a black box theater to do somebody's graduate thesis play.
This is the one, by the way, that the script was from a fan.
Okay. Okay.
Joyce Muscat.
Muscat?
Yeah. Happy Angel
Friends
Muscat.
of Angela Muscat? Yeah. So yeah, we get sent to a little black box theater. We meet a woman who's an alien and she's mute. And we're like, what's up with that? McCoy's like, I want to call her Gem. Spock's like, why Gem? And he's like, it's better than saying, hey, you. Just kind of comes up with a name for her. And then we learn that we're in this experiment where these big-headed alien guys have Gem and are trying to either like test or help her develop empathy or something. So they're gonna test like self-preservation instinct and sacrificing yourself for others, and we're gonna make McCoy sick and da 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 da. She's got empath powers where she can heal people. The part to me that's super super anime is the whole sequence of like it's a first person looking straight at her shot, and we have this like doo-doo-doo-doo music, and she's like healing Kirk and whatever. It feels very like sci-fi anime. There's a woman with mysterious powers who isn't speaking and has a kind of ethereal beauty.
Yeah.
I think the music's really cool in this episode. It's kind of my favorite part of it.
I like the low production quality of it all being black curtains. I think that was a great idea.
Yeah, me too.
And that was
much
in the
better
original.
than going to the Paramount lot.
For sure. Yeah, Joyce was the Muscat. She wrote that in the original script. It's like, this needs to be a bare minimum, practically a stage play set. That's just a morality play. Because the idea is just to, I don't want to like correct you, but just to like flesh out what you were saying about the idea. The idea here. Jem's race are dying, and so she's an empath of her race, and the aliens are like, well, let's test you as an example of your race. Do we keep you or the humans? If we keep you, then that's because you proved that you would sacrifice your life for them. And then she does choose to do that. And then Kirk goes, it's not fair that you have to pick between us or them. And the aliens go, okay, fine. Both of you can live. We don't care. And it's a funny version of what we keep saying, where it's like they have to just fix the problem. But in this case, it's because it's aliens who don't really care that much. They're just testing for the sake of testing. And so they're like, yeah, sure, everyone can live. I don't care. Leave me alone. McCoy's fun here. The scene where he's like, well, she can't be a telepath because she would have been talking to us. So she must be mute. The only two options that a woman can be. Yeah, everyone calm the fuck down and the force field will go down. That part where they're in the thing and he's like, it's feeding on bad vibes. Just relax and it'll go away. That's it. It's a very sparse episode. It's pretty chill. Scotty makes a funny Bible reference at the end. Pearl of great price. That part's good. What do you rate this one?
I like it. It's at least a B, if not just an A from vibes alone.
I think I'm willing to give it a B.
B. Yeah. Let's do B.
There's so many episodes this season that were banned by the BBC because of torture.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like every other episode, they're
Really?
like, "Yep, banned. Play to
much
stepchildren, banned." Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. We're out of episodes for now.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, a half season better than I was told it would be. Still not good, but better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, no S's, no true standout,
No.
amazing episodes. 3 A's, 4 B's, 3 C's, 2 D's. Just like,
Middle of the plate. Very meh. But hey, Magellan, the next time we do TrekChatz, we're finishing TOS for now.
That's
well,
right.
We're finishing the show. And then the episode
Yeah.
after that we'll start covering the movies. So
yeah.
stay tuned.
Should we do the animated series or no?
I think this, and then I asked the listeners, and then I forget what the listeners tell us. I think the animated series is very slight. It's also short. It's not long. We could do it in one episode.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How many
Let's.
episodes is this?
Yeah.
We'll discuss and decide this, but
I want to finish the show, then the movies, and then either.
it's
the
only
animated series.
22 episodes.
Yeah, and they're 30 minutes. They're not 45. They're not 50 minutes.
So we could probably just do one
An
episode
episode.
about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
animated.
Really, the whole project of TrekChatz is to collect enough data so that we can watch Lower Decks and get all the references.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, I'm looking at the episodes from part 2, and there's like nothing left in here that I've heard about. I don't think so. There's no more like super significant historical episodes or like big canonical. Now that I'm from just the titles.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right, well.
What are we
We'll
doing
round
next
it
time on Chats, Magellan?
Well, I realize we have to actually figure out exactly what we're gonna watch. We're returning to Toon Couch Toon Madness, but we don't have our next division figured out.
Dope.
So, maybe we'll figure that out, and you can splice it
drop
in at the end here. Yeah,
That's the play.
yeah. But yeah, we'll be back next week with Toon Couch Toon Madness.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Where can people find you on the internet, my friend?
You can find me on another podcast that I do with my friend Justin called Super Smash Echoes, where we play video games related to the Super Smash Brothers franchise and talk about them. Super Smash Echoes, check it out. You can also find me on Bluesky at not-that-magellan.bsky.social and on Ghost at not-that-magellan.ghost.io. Alan, what about you?
You can hear me on another podcast called The Creature Quorum, which is on scanlinemedia.com. That's a Pokemon podcast I do with my friend Six Detmar. We are recording the final episode, the 8th gym of the Kanto Tourism Committee podcast, where we cover the Kanto games pretty soon, like this week. So we'll be talking about Giovanni and his fun team of friends and rockets. Exactly, Giovanni, because he's Italian, you see. And you can also find me on Bluesky at Ibrahim, AIBRAHIM. John, I would love to do the plugs from this week if that's okay with you.
Do it.
You can email us questions, comments, or concerns at chatzpod.gmail.com. We also have a Bluesky at Chatspod if you want to reach out to us there. Our YouTube channel is Chatz, a television podcast. The episodes come out Tuesdays, 2 days after the audio version. You can see us on video, and you can see, I don't know, cool shirts. The John Star Fox poster, the Star Trek poster in the back. Lots of good stuff to look at. My anime posters. We got One Piece. We got Cowboy Bebop. It's also good on the Pontoon. Tickle, 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 tickle. That's all on the Chatz YouTube channel, where I know some people prefer to watch the podcast this way. That's me waving to you. You can also rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help the algorithm in our favor. And finally, we also have a way to support us financially. It's patreon.com/chatspod. You can hear Magellan's X-Files podcast a new episode coming soon, the Chatz Files. You get special titles on our free Chatz Discord for being a patron. At $3 or more, you get to add things to our little funny cup with eyeballs on it. And we watch and talk about the things. I do want to offer a quick correction to a recent patron pick. We gave the wrong name when announcing the winner of the last patron pick. We are doing Steph's pick next, which is the film Real Life. We'll be watching and discussing over on Patreon for the month of July. And we also do an us pick, a Chatz host pick every month. So two bonus episodes, a huge backlog, Patreon or Discord titles. It's a lot of fun. And $5 a month plus gets you all those fun bonuses. Plus, I thank you at the end of every main feed episode. So thank you to the $5 plus patrons who include fiance of the podcast Amanda, Arthur, Emily, Emrys, recent guest Emrys, Felicia, Jen, Justin, recent guest and girlfriend of the podcast Kelly, Kyrie, Lee, Marcus, Magellan's mom, MP, Nick of the Brothers at Infinite War, Noel, who I recently got to hang out with, Six, Stefan, and Steph. Thanks so much for supporting Chatz. We love you very much. If you like our main feed podcast art, whoosh, there it is. That's done by Camilla. She's at Camillastrator on social media. You make sure to follow her. And last but not least, truly last but not least, we have Chatsums. Things for you to snack on between now and next time. John, what is or are your Chatsums for this week, my friend?
Okay, I'm going to be smart. I have a few Chatsums that I've been stocking up. Gosh, I'm going to do 2 of them.
Whoa.
Right now. I'm going to do 3 of them.
Whoa.
3 of them.
You nut.
I'm a silly Billy. Okay, my first one is a very regional specific Chatsum. I was in Denver recently for a work trip, and I went to a store in Denver that was awesome. It's called the Wizard's Chest. It's a huge store.
Ooh.
It has magic stuff, like doing magic tricks. It has costumes. It has toys. Then you go downstairs, and it's the biggest board game store I've ever been in. And they have board games. They have magic stuff like the card game. There's an escape room down there. There's a place to play games. So if you're ever in Denver and you like any cool hobbies, you got to go to the Wizard's Chest. That place was awesome.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah. Second Chatsum, I've been reading a bunch of comics lately. Marvel Unlimited, getting back into the X-Men and back in all sorts of other stuff. And I learned and realized that 2 people I really enjoy are currently writing X books. One of them is Gail Simone, who is a premium follow on Bluesky. She's writing
a cat?
An X book.
Are we okay?
That was a cat, yeah.
Okay.
And then one of my favorite authors who I've chatsomed a lot of her work before, Eve Ewing, is currently writing an X book. She wrote Exceptional X-Men, which had a 13-issue run. I highly recommend. It's like Kitty Pryde is moved back to Chicago. She's in her 30s. She's working at like a bar, and it's like, ugh, I hate being old. And then she finds joy in mentoring a new group of young X-Men mutant people. It's a wonderful story. And now Eve Ewing is writing like a current tentpole thing called X-Men United, so that's all great. But Exceptional X-Men is a story that begins and ends, and I think is really delightful. I'd recommend it. And then my third Chatsum, there's this video game, kind of video essay YouTube channel. The person's called Embankment, and they're in the midst of a series where they're saying their top 5 video games for every letter of the alphabet, which is like such a great concept that I haven't seen anybody else do. But every episode it's like, all right, H, kind of an interesting letter. Here's my top H games, and here's some honorable mentions. And it's just kind of an approach to like top games that brings games to the surface that might not be surfaced in like a top 5 from this decade or top 5 in this genre, where you feel like you've heard every one of those before. Yeah. So I recommend that.
Oh my god, great thumbnail work
what
from
about you?
Embankment, by the way.
Yeah, great thumbnails. What's your Chatsum for the week?
I had a really wonderful weekend, the weekend of the 11th. So I guess my Chatsum is to like enjoy your summer and go see a concert if you can. Boston has just been really wonderful. I guess visit Boston is my real Chatsum, because we've had a huge confluence of cool things that bring you into community with other people, like Noah Kahan's multi-day tour through Fenway Park, which is so cool and so loud that you can listen to it for free outside of Fenway Park. We We have the tall ships, which are like different ships from different countries that sail around the country and have been in Boston this past weekend. We have the 250th anniversary of our United States, which, say what you will about the U.S., we've had a lot of good opportunities for fireworks, if that's something you like. We had Pokemon Go Fest over in Moakley Park on the 11th and 12th. That was extremely fun. I got to meet some pool goers. It's just been a great time to live in a beautiful city, and I can't recommend this place enough because it makes me really happy, and I like the people here. I like the activities that we get to do in our little coastal abode, a city on a hill, if you will.
Amazing.
I'm really proud of myself for referencing that. Shout outs to my poetry instructor from college. That's what I got. Pretty simple, straightforward. Thank you so much to Magellan for being the Tholian web to my Kirk and Spock, because I'm trapped inside of you. I love improvising. Thank you so much for listening to TrekChatz. Live long and prosper. Peace.